Good afternoon, everybody. It's me, the media guy. I gotta admit, it has been a long time since I watched anything related to these iconic duo, Wallace and Gromit. So I figured, why not just take a look at their first theatrical movie called Wallace and Gromit: The Curse of the Were-Rabbit. Yes, the title alone actually means that they will be dealing with no werewolves or any other monster, but an actual were-rabbit. I assumed if any of you are like big Wallace and Gromit fans, I assume you might have heard about this movie before. But just in case you haven't for some reason, from the Academy Award-winning creators of Wallace and Gromit comes one of the most enjoyable family films of the year. When their town's prized produce starts disappearing, our cheese-loving inventor and his savvy canine companion must use their wildly imaginative inventions to try to capture this mysterious beast of epic and fluffy proportions. Hailed as a terrific family movie and whimsical, funny, and endlessly inventive, Curse of the Were-Rabbit is a hair-raising adventure for the whole family. Now, I have to admit, it has been a very long time since I actually watched Wallace and Gromit: The Curse of the Were-Rabbit. Yeah, I do remember watching this for the first time like many years ago, but then just stopped watching it altogether for some reason. So I decided to take a look at it again for the very first time this year. And well, I'm not gonna lie. I remember being a great movie now, and it still is now. I remember this being a great movie years ago, and it still is now. Wonderful claymation, great story with a beginning, middle, and end. Love the soundtrack. Wallace and Gromit are still iconic. And I do like the idea of doing their own take on the whole werewolf legend, but this time having Wallace and Gromit go up against the were-rabbit, who really does have a big thing for eating everyone's vegetables from their garden. Yeah, I guess this does lead up to the festival, which is taking place at a famous lady's home. I do like how Wallace and Gromit are trying to find ways to capture this were-rabbit. And like I said a few minutes ago, it is a difference. It does take on the whole werewolf legend, but with a family-friendly spin to it. Because don't worry, there aren't any people being dead in this movie. Because if the movie was gonna go that route, this movie would have been rated R at some point. Ugh. I assume that if you guys have already seen this movie, you pretty much know what to expect. Let's just say that one of Wallace's adventures goes horribly wrong. That involves a mind wave machine and rabbits, which accidentally turns him into the were-rabbit. And what's even funnier is that during the night, Wallace doesn't even remember being the were-rabbit. He kind of blanks out and wakes up in the morning as a completely normal person. And again, yes, it is kind of, and you can also tell that Gromit is very concerned about Wallace and what he's going through, even if he's too goofy to realize that. They even had to go up against this dangerous hunter who has a thing for killing innocent creatures for no reason. I mean, well, to be fair, he is a hunter and hunters do their thing. And let's just say that Victor had to pay the price when it comes to hunting the were-rabbit, which he knew that it was Wallace all along. And don't worry, he's not like a mad scientist bent on world domination or whatnot. I don't think he's that evil if he wants to. He's just a hunter with cruel intentions. Man, I gotta admit, I almost forgot how hilariously wacky this movie is. Because, like I said, it has been a very long time since I watched this movie in general. And I guess it makes sense to cover this movie now, since, yeah, I know that I could have covered this movie during the Halloween season, but hey, better late than ever, right? Wait, March. Well, since Halloween is like 7 months away from now, maybe I might do like a revisit edition review at some point. But anyways, I honestly think Wallace and Gromit, The Curse of the Were-Rabbit, is quite an enjoyable movie. Still has some great animation. Wallace and Gromit are still popular now as they were a few decades ago. And I do like how this is like a different take on the whole werewolf story. Which, to be fair, that is pretty clever. and I'm guessing they made up the were-rabbit legend for this movie. There is also a bit of another gag in this movie, where the hunter Victor starts to get information from the priest at the local church, who gives him a book about all sorts of legends. And one of them is not only a were-rabbit, but a were-cow as well. And I can almost imagine if the were-cow was going to be its own separate movie. I mean, I know that the idea of a were-cow movie will be so stupid that most fans might not find it scary. But hey, you never know. But anyways, this is still a great movie for all Wallace and Gromit fans alike. So I'll give this movie 5 24-karat golden carrots out of 5. Get it, 24-karat gold? Because rabbits like carrots. Just a little joke. So anyways, thanks a lot for checking out this review of Wallace and Gromit, Curse of the Were-Rabbit. And I think this movie turns 21 years old, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, I'm not sure if I'm early or late for the film's 21st anniversary, so you guys can let me know down in the comments below.